Everyone, Bill here with KB Tricks.
Hello.
What are we at, hon? What are we doing?
We are in Vancouver, British Columbia. We are currently at Stanley Park and we are about ready to take a horse-drawn trolley ride.
So we're like right across from downtown area. Looks like there's a marina there. And this is the horse-drawn trolley stop, or where we get on. And we got the attraction. We went to information attraction ticket thing, and we got the trolley seems to run what, every half hour or so?
Oh no, not quite. More than, it's like 35-40 minutes.
Okay, so our trolley doesn't leave for about an hour because they're popular enough, I guess. So there's only room for one on the next one. I told Carrie to go ahead without me, but she won't leave without me.
I guess I kind of like you too much.
I don't know why. What is there like?
It.
So we're actually waiting for a reservation.
Yes.
We don't actually have a reservation, but we bought tickets anyway, so we're waiting to get on. And this doesn't just take us there, it's supposed to be an actual tour.
Yeah, it's like a narrated tour. It's about an hour long, and it's going to kind of take us around all of the sites here in the park.
Okay, we're all aboard our trolley, waiting to go. Be about another half hour.
Get up. There we go. Once again, my name's Connor, folks. Welcome aboard Stanley Park Horse-Drawn Tours. I will be your guide and driver as we head around the eastern side of Stanley Park this beautiful afternoon. Beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon in Vancouver. Before I tell you about the park, I'll just introduce you to my two co-workers up front here. On the left, we have Bud, and on Bud's right is Banjo. I'm driving Bud and Banjo today. We're just leaving another team behind here. The horse on the right there, that's a Clydesdale draft horse, probably the most famous breed of draft horse, Clydesdales, and that's Smith, and then on Smith's left there is Comet. Comet is a Percheron draft horse. It's a French breed of draft. With the Industrial Revolution and the invention of the tractor and trucks, draft horses aren't really used for much anymore, except for things like this, like the tours in the park. One of the largest urban parks in Canada. And at 1,000 acres in size, Stanley Park is 157 acres larger than New York City's famous Central Park. Stanley Park gets around 8 million visitors a year. That's both locals and tourists, making it British Columbia's #1 attraction. Captain George Vancouver sailed here on back in the 1700s. Of course,
this is Dead Man's Island. It's kind of complicated how it came up with the name, but it's now a Canadian naval base.
If you look on the gates of HMCS Discovery, you can see their emblem. It's a white Y with a golden disc over it. Disc over Y, Discovery. Kind of a little play on the word.
There's an outdoor comedy fest this weekend, so that's what the stage area is. This is where we're going to be sailing out of tomorrow. This is where a lot of cruise ships come. They're at Canada Place, which is the building with the white roof over there that looks like tents. In the foreground there is like a floating gas station.
Made of totem poles on our left here. And these totem poles represent several different carving styles of different First Nations groups from the west coast here.
We're actually going to get off here for about 5 minutes. We're going to take a look at the totem poles. Okay, so they got a couple of totem poles here with different styles they have on display, and they actually have placards explaining what the different styles are. That one's cool. I like that with the wings on it. Looks like some sort of eagle. One in the middle there, some sort of design at the top. Actually has a couple holes in it. There's characters stacked on top of each other. Oh, this is definitely a popular spot to visit. Quite a few people are here. Back on the other side of the totem poles area, they actually have a gift shop. There you go, kind of a wider shot of the area. As I said, pretty popular. A lot of people stopping by to check out the totem poles. Before we board back on the trolley, that red building in the foreground, that's where that naval base is, the Canadian Naval Base. Dead Man's Island, there's actually kind of like a long, complicated story for why it's called Dead Man's Island. I can't really see it behind the trees there, but that's where the port is. We're going to take off on the Disney Wonder tomorrow for our trip to Alaska. The park's considered a temperate rainforest. because they get a lot of rain around here. Kind of like Capilano's Park is a rainforest too.
Vancouver's port is actually one of the busiest in North America, and the Port of Vancouver is actually #1 in terms of tonnage for exports. A lot of raw materials especially is exported out of Vancouver. Directly across from us, you can see behind that tanker there's some mountains of yellow stuff. Anybody know what that stuff is?
Sulfur.
It's sulfur, yeah, and that sulfur is a byproduct of sour gas wells in northern Alberta and Saskatchewan. And in those blue buildings up ahead there is potash, which is mined in northern Saskatchewan. It's used as a fertilizer, shipped all over the world. Further down the inlet, there's a bunch of grain terminals, grain elevators, where grain is shipped here by rail from the prairies. And we also have a few oil pipelines that come to Vancouver. And so you'll see oil tankers here in the harbor as well. Oh, there's the Harbor Boat Tour paddle wheeler that takes people on tours of Vancouver's harbor. This is the girl in a wetsuit statue. Some people call her the Little Mermaid statue, but if you look closely, she's got a pair of flippers on, diving goggles, and a wetsuit. And usually that usually that seagull's sitting on top of her head, so you guys are pretty lucky today. Somebody looks like somebody put a shirt or scarf on her. Yeah, the girl in a wetsuit was actually modeled after the Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen Harbor in Copenhagen, Denmark. And when the tide's coming in quite fast right now, but when the water comes, at high tide, the water comes right up to her flippers on that big rock, and at low tide, the big boulder she's sitting on, which is about 12, 14 feet high, is exposed completely on the rocks there.
You can see some of the cargo ships going by. It's known as Lumberman's Arch Park.
New families there today. Named for the wooden arch right here. Up behind the trees on the left here is one of the many concession stands that's throughout Stanley Park. Kind of like this one. They serve hamburgers, hot dogs, fish and chips, I believe. These red trees with the red leaves here, these are Japanese red maples, and they actually stay that color year-round. Eat up, bud. Come on, bud. Come on. So recently, the Parks Department has had to cut down thousands and thousands of trees all throughout Stanley Park because of a lucre moth infestation. This and another invasive species of insect is infested, particularly the western hemlock tree.
Got the Stanley Park Railway is over here, so you can small little railroad that you can ride. Stanley Park Rose Gardens.
Here in the gardens, as well as other flowers. I often see wedding parties getting their wedding photos taken here in the Rose Gardens, or even weddings. A lot of weddings take place here in the park in the summertime.
Up on the hill is Lord Stanley statue. Stanley is the name for Stanley Park, and is also Stanley Cup, the NHL championship trophies named after him. This was named after Queen Victoria. Was a drinking fountain, but it's still a memory of her. Just so you know that this is a 2-horse-powered vehicle. These are horses, butt and banjo. Good guy.
You were a very good boy. Yes, you were.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Just got off of the
Stanley Park horse-drawn trolley tour.
What do you think of it?
I had a great time. It was a great way to see, like, it was an hour-long tour. So we were able to see a good portion of, well, of one part of the park, but it's kind of the things we were interested in seeing, like the totem poles and the girl in the water statue, and got a beautiful view of Lionsgate Bridge. We went by that, so it's very neat.
Yeah, really neat. I don't know how well the video turned out because your eye can pick out things different than the camera, so hopefully the video turned out alright for you. But please do us a favor and subscribe. About 90% of our viewers are not subscribers, so help us flip that number and help the channel grow. Help us reach our next goal of 2,000 subscribers. But what is the details on this?
Details, I know it was $80 per adult. I know that there were different pricing for children and seniors.
Yeah, that's, again, Canadian price.
Canadian dollars.
But anyway, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm Bill.
I'm Carrie.
You've been watching KB Truck. Please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Until then, good luck and have fun.
See ya.
Parks Department has had to cut down thousands thousands and thousands of trees all throughout Stanley Park because of the looper moth infestation. This and another invasive species of insect is infested, particularly the western hemlock tree. But you can see a lot of